I'm gonna make some toast, Vegemite and avocado toast. I have this bread. It's not the best bread, but the ingredients are just really good. Almond flour, egg whites, water. I want to use it up because I bought it. Hopefully with these on top, it'll taste fine. My strategy is I'm just gonna burn it. The best. Still don't love the bread, but the Vegemite and avocado, salt and pepper and oregano do make it a lot better. It's not like real bread, so obviously it doesn't taste like real bread. Okay, let's see. It looks like avocado. That's actually really nice and really refreshing. I have my first appointment today, like first appointment in America. Hey, hello. We go on a really good walk today. He's been napping basically the whole time after the walk. It was really nice. I'm trying to increase my steps. I just hear so many people say walking is one of the best things that you can do in your pregnancy, and I wasn't that active in my first trimester. On the couch and in bed every single day, I just did not feel like walking. The first time I went to the doctor was in Australia, so I haven't seen anyone over here. So I'm excited. I have like all of my paperwork from all of my appointments from Australia to show the doctor and go through with her. Tomorrow I am 17 weeks, which is the size of a large onion. I just think it's gonna fly, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna be at the end and we're gonna be getting ready to have a baby in the house. I'm currently home alone all week. Gabe has gone on a little trip with some guys. There's actually a lot of guys, and they all like get together, I think twice a year. And it's really amazing and like really just fills him with a lot of life. Today's Tuesday. He left yesterday morning and he gets back late Thursday night. So it's just me and Milo and baby in my belly. I'm gonna have some girls over tonight, which would be nice, so I'm just like not alone 24/7. I've been really productive. Like, I find that when I'm completely by myself, I'm very productive and I'm good at holding myself accountable, which is strange because sometimes I feel like it would be the opposite. Like, Gabe would leave and I'm like, I'm just gonna lay on the couch all day, but I've been really productive yesterday and today. But I'm excited for him to get home. The house like just feels empty and the bed feels empty and blah blah blah. I'm definitely getting like the pregnancy emotional hormones. Like, that's definitely starting to come because I cried dropping him off at the airport yesterday. He's gone on this trip a couple times before and I've never cried dropping him off. It's just like a couple days when we were hugging, and it's funny, I like kind of had a lump in my throat since the night before when he was packing, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I wrote him little notes to open each day and I like hid them in his jeans, and writing one of them I was starting to get teary, and it's just, I feel like I'm a bit emotional this week. I should write that down on my list. Anyway, so that's the update. I'm home alone, going for my appointment today. Yesterday on the couch, I'm pretty sure I felt like a very, like, probably the closest thing to a kick that I felt so far. I feel like in the last week, I've been able to differentiate between like just random stuff going on down there and if it's actually like a baby movement or a kick. I think that was yesterday, I think was like my third or fourth time that I'm like, that was definitely the baby. It was such a strange feeling and it was so tiny. Like, I'm sure as the weeks go on, it'll get more prominent and I'll be like, yep, that's definitely a kick. Also, when I wake up in the morning, I can feel the baby. Like, sometimes I can't right now. I probably could if I like really felt around, but in the morning when my tummy is at its smallest, I can really feel, and we can see too, like where the baby is. Okay, I'm gonna head to my appointment. I was gonna say, for the last week or so, I have like gotten sickness back. I'm not throwing up and I don't think it's nausea either. It's something I'm gonna ask her about at my appointment, but I have a feeling it's like an increase in hormones and my digestion is just bad because I feel sick every day, but then it's worse when I eat. I'm gonna go to my appointment now and I'll update you guys when I'm out. The appointment went really well. I just got to meet the midwife and chat through everything that happened like at all my appointments in Australia and ask any questions that I had. Had another blood test. I feel like I'm just such a professional at blood tests now. I've never had so many as I have in the last 3 months. Whenever I walk out from getting a blood test, I feel like I can't move my arm, and that's probably just me being dramatic, but I'm like, oh, and it's fine, it doesn't hurt, but for some reason it always just feels like stiff. Having some leftovers as a late lunch. I made, last night I had chickpea pasta, like in a bolognese. I have no emails in my inbox or anything, so I think I'm gonna like watch an episode of something on TV. I have started watching Desperate Housewives. I think I'm on the last episode of season 1 now. That's what I'm next. That's what I have next. Did you just eat as well? Mile and I have to eat at the same time. If he can like smell my food, he gets hungry. So he just had his dinner. But yeah, Desperate Housewives. I like the mystery element to it. I've told my sister to watch it and see if she gets into it too. It's funny because if you've ever been to Universal Studios, they have like a backlot tour, and I just love doing those things in Los Angeles. I did the Warner Brothers one so many times. For every Australian or any friend that came into town, I was like, do you want to do the Warner Brothers tour? Universal Studios has one. It's like a little ride that you go on, but it's like a little studio lot tour. And they have the Desperate Housewives street. You like drive down and you can see the whole street. And now I've watched it and I see the street in every episode. Like, oh, now I want to go back and see it in real life. Anyway, I might watch a Desperate Housewives episode. Maybe send Gabe a little update of the day. He's very busy and like with so many people, so we're not talking a lot, but we'll like send each other updates every now and then, which is nice. Like 2016 when we did long distance, except he's just a few states over and like the next time zone over from me, and it's only for a few days, not a couple months. All right, had my, really it was kind of early dinner. It's 5 o'clock now. I'm gonna go through my very early signs of pregnancy before I tested, like before I got my positive test. Milo's just asleep next to me, by the way. So I wrote down that this was probably from 2 weeks pregnant to 4 weeks pregnant, because when I was 4 weeks is when I tested. The first thing that happened that I was like, this is really strange, and why I thought I could be pregnant, is I needed to wake up every single night in the middle of the night to go pee. That's never happened before. I thought that happened to you, you know, later in life. I don't know, I feel like I'm very aware of any change that happens in my body, and so as soon as that started happening, I thought that was really suspicious and that I could be pregnant. I also wrote peeing a lot / peeing my pants. So yeah, I did just have to pee all the time, but for peeing my pants, one day in particular, I remember I think I had just gotten out of the shower and I was like doing my skincare or something in my towel. Literally, I couldn't help it. I just had to pee. And just from my vanity to the toilet, like I didn't fully make it, and I peed like a little bit. It wasn't anything too gross, but that just, the fact that I had like no control, not that far to go from my vanity to the toilet and I didn't make it, I was like, oh my gosh, something is going on. The next one was insomnia and anxiety. That also goes along with me just feeling really, sorry, I have our TV is going through its like screensavers, so the lighting keeps changing, sorry. The insomnia and anxiety also goes along with me not feeling any motivation to do anything. Now, there's some videos on my channel that it was before I found out I was pregnant. I think it was 3 in a row where I was just feeling really off. It's so crazy because I was pregnant in those videos, and I think I mentioned in each of those videos that I was just feeling really unmotivated, that I wasn't feeling myself, that I had some anxiety and insomnia. So you could go back and look at those videos. It's like, I think 3 in a row. I think I mentioned this before, but I'm pretty good at holding myself accountable for like the things that I want to get done. Those few weeks, I just felt so unmotivated. Actually, I think it was pretty much the whole first trimester, but that was definitely a first sign that it was just something so different for me. With the insomnia, I either just couldn't get to sleep and I was just laying awake for hours, or I would wake up in the middle of the night and just lay there. Like, maybe after I like got up and peed and I came back and I just couldn't go to sleep. I've heard before that you just have a feeling when you know, and like I've taken other pregnancy tests before, and the few weeks leading up to taking this test felt so different than any other time. I've heard people say that you just get a feeling and you know, and I really just had overall just a feeling. So one of the nights that I had insomnia, I was just laying and I touched my belly. And I think this is so strange because I've never done this before, but I was laying in bed and I touched my belly and I prayed over our future baby. A really random one that I don't think like has anything to do with me actually being pregnant, but something that I noted was that I was starting to watch baby name videos. It was just a short-lived phase that I went through where I watched people's baby name videos on YouTube. Maybe that's because I had an inkling, but yeah, that one's just so random. The next two are bloating and sore breasts. I was so sore for a really long time, but before taking the test, I was really sore, and it reminded me of how sore I was on birth control. But at that point, I had been off birth control for a year. Basically every single day on birth control, I was just sore and really like sensitive, and then going off birth control and my body kind of flushed it all out of my system. I didn't feel sore like ever. Maybe on my period I'd feel a little like sensitive, but I started getting sore basically every day. And so that was another change in my body that I recognized really early on. Bloating is so normal, but I just think specifically that time I was bloated like every day. I then found out that that's like a pretty common first sign, and that happened to me for a while in my first trimester. It's honestly still happening. I look so different at night than I do in the morning, depending on what I eat and like how my digestion is that day. And then the last two I have is easily out of breath and very easy change in body temperature. Again, it was just something small that I noticed, but it would be like I'd be really hot. Say if I'm laying in bed, I'd be really hot and then I'd get really cold. That's pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, that is everything that I noticed before taking the test. And then I have everything like from when I took the test onwards up until now, just like every single thing I've felt. So I do want to go through that too in my first trimester recap. I found these really interesting when I first found out I was pregnant. So if you're in a similar stage, or if you're not, you might still find this interesting. I think either when this goes up or like within a day or two, we're going to be posting the video on our Jess and Gabriel channel of me finding out. So if it's out, I will link it down below. It is an emotional roller coaster. Go check it out if you're curious, because I actually got a negative test. I'd love to hear or read your first signs and see if they were similar to mine or different, or if you have something, you know, like me peeing my pants, if you have a story like that. Anyway, thanks for hanging with me today. It's been a nice day. Got to have the appointment. I'm excited for Gabe to come back though, obviously. Funny, I feel like when you get married, I don't know, it might not apply to you, but I just miss him like as soon as he's gone. And I think it's really sweet. Like, it reminds me so immediately how blessed I am that he is my husband and I get to do life with him every day. Even though he's gone for a couple days, like, it's not that serious. Every time he leaves town, or every time I leave town for something, anytime we're separated, I just immediately miss him. And it just like reminds me of how much a blessing it is that we are married to each other. And that was probably my pregnancy hormones talking. But yeah, I feel like the past couple days I've just been like so grateful to be married to Gabe. Would you like some crackers, some ham with that cheese? I'm gonna hang with Milo. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I'll see you next time.